Jeez. Oh, the cool thing about this rather than next to home is you can, well, you know this because
you can swear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck it.
I'm Trudy Kerr, and welcome to The Interviewer. In this series, I talk to artists, campaigners, men and women of influence, musicians, performers, sportsmen and women, politicians, businessmen and women, and anyone who shapes the fabric of our society. Welcome to a very special edition of The Interviewer, and I'm really, really excited because I'm here with one of my most favourite people on the planet, Luke Chappell.
Hey.
Luke!
How you doing?
I'm good. It's
You?
been a while. We worked out that I haven't seen you since last March.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So to give a bit of background, if there's anybody in the planet that's not heard of you, you are a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
We would know you through the TV here, through the talent shows here in Malta.
Yeah.
But you kind of came to kind of public persona through that, but then
Yeah.
you've taken this whole story of yours much, much further. And the last 6 months has been really exciting. So I've
Yeah.
interviewed, this must be our fourth interview together?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, two podcasts, I think. No.
XFM, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
exactly,
sure.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, and of course, I welcomed you on stage at the Fastens Beer Festival.
Well, yeah, when I opened it, yeah.
This was years ago, this was pre-pandemic.
2019. Exactly, yeah.
But
Mad.
your story is now elevated to an international level. And
Yeah.
first of all, before I go any further, I'm so excited because you know I have such a big heart for you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I am so...
Same goes, obviously.
But I love watching your story, seeing how that evolves. And
Yeah.
you dropped me a line. I saw you in the socials and I was like, Luke, what's going on? I happen to be in Malta. Let's do
Yeah.
this. Let's have a chat. But that's where it stops because I really want to find out what the hell is going on. You got
Right.
signed to Sony USA.
Yeah, yep. in the
Give me a
States.
bit of backstory.
Okay. I think we spoke about this a bit in the podcast, but my manager, who is like my representative right from the States, because I've got two managers, one that takes care of me here and one in the States, which is, I mean, I'm very blessed to have both of them, and it's been surreal. But it goes way back in the pandemic, 2020, when I was writing a song with Peter Borge in the studio. It was called Lonely Again, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But then I released it through this distribution. Basically, it's kind of like an artist page, but it also distributes, songs. Called Bangers Only, and that was my first label, and it was like, okay, cool, like a bit of recognition, getting my name out there, in the States, and it got a lot of streams. I think it's around 13 million streams.
I'm sorry, Luke, hang on a second. It got a lot of streams.
Yeah.
13 million?
Yeah, it's not like massive, but it's
No, sorry, that is massive. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, 13 million people have seen you.
Yeah.
And your song that you wrote and you performing.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Carry on.
And and yeah, basically, someone from Sony heard it. I think it was 3-4 months after it got released. It's a bit hazy in my head. I'm not too sure about the memory, but
Nobody remembers what happened in the pandemic anyway. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly, literally. I don't think anyone wants to remember, to be honest.
No, we're able to still brush that aside.
Yeah. But it was surreal. It was quick. It was surprisingly very the representative from Sony, The Orchard specifically, which is like a division from Sony, not Sony itself. One of the executive people in the Orchard reached out to me, not even my manager, even though he's on my social, he's linking up in my bio. He reached out to me on Instagram saying, hey, like your music. And at first I was like, yeah, no way. I was on Instagram. They normally send an email or something, being very formal.
You thought someone was...
Scamming me, right? Yeah, obviously. But it was actually genuine. And I did my research. Before I replied, it was a long message as well. So I double tapped the message. I was like, okay, cool. I'll check you out. I'll discuss it with my manager and stuff, and I'll see where it goes. But the proposal was like, I want to have like 1 or 2 singles out through this distribution, and I'll send the contract your way if you're interested, and we'll take care of the marketing and everything else for you. And I was like, it sounds like a miracle, right? But it sounds too good to be true. So I like, you know, but it ended up being real, thank God. So
this all happened in pandemic, because I remember I talked to you about this when this was sort of first, your story.
Yeah.
I'd seen again, I'd follow you on socials.
Yeah.
And I'd seen that you'd got signed, and we had this conversation about writing in the pandemic.
Exactly,
you're a writer, you're a songwriter,
Yeah.
you're an extremely talented songwriter, and you're talking
you.
about the fact that writing during the pandemic and having a schedule of how many songs you had to produce brought a whole new dynamic to you. And of course, you're studying at the same time.
Yeah, now, I'm doing a degree, which is surreal. I don't know how I'm managing with my schedule, but I know friends of mine which are very talented, but they handle their schedule way better than me. And they have much more to deal with, so it's incredible, but yeah.
So you get signed to Sony. It's not a scam. It's an actual story.
Yep.
So bringing that right up to date, what happened? We spoke last time in March where you were just starting to get things going with Sony, and you were talking about the amount of songs that you had to produce and put out. And now you've got 2 songs out.
Yep.
And the album's coming out.
Yeah.
What?
It's insane. It's a long work process, but we managed. It took like 6-7 months to produce and like write down. The writing part was very fast because I'm very quick with writing down songs, but producing it, you know, going at the studio. I also went to San Francisco to produce one of the songs with Kanye West's producer, which was mental. I was like, it was surreal. I was like, no way am I working with the same guy. I didn't even know until I got there, and I was like, you know, this is Kanye West's producer. I was like, no way. I was like, he produced most of the stuff on Donda, the release that he just had like a couple months ago. But it was a long process, a lot of work on marketing, exhausting. But I'm here now, so it's great.
Let's go back before we talk about what's happening now. Let's go back to when you first appeared on stage. The song was
on stage,
on TV.
X Factor, you mean?
X Factor.
Okay.
The song was.
Man, I haven't gone back in a while. I think it was Losing Faith in Humanity. Yeah, that was.
And you stood up and you sang this song that you written yourself to the judges.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now we roll on what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's been around almost 5 coming down. Yeah.
So going back to the Luke Chappell that was then, could you ever have imagined that this would be where you'd be sitting in 2022? Or did you know?
Question.
No, because I just said then you went.
That is a great question.
You knew.
I always wanted to get somewhere, right? I initially when I went for that audition, I did not think, I want to become like the biggest star. I just wanted to. I was like forced to even go to the audition by my mum. I was like, you know, you have to go. You know, I'm paying for all these vocal lessons. You might as well try it out and see where it goes. I was like, no, but okay, I'll go. And yeah, so I never had that like, I want to be a pop star. I want to be like a musician. I want to be, you know, known. It was more to just express myself through music and just show people what I'm doing, basically. But yeah.
So if you could go back to that day and say, okay, this is where I'm going to be at. I'm releasing an album with and I've been working with Kanye West's producer, and I've flown over to the States, and I've been. Would you go back and you would tell that person, or you would just say, hey, listen, you know, wait and see what's happening?
No, definitely wait and see. Because if you put something, same way if I'm looking at myself in 5 years and like, you know, the future Luke comes to me and be like, you know, get ready because you're going to meet this person, it would kind of mess up the timeline. So I'm like, it's good to go through the struggles, to live the moment and just take it day by day. I feel like that makes a lot of the process easier. Because if I'm looking at the future, I'm like, I know where I want to be, but then I also know what's going to happen. It just ruins it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
That's very Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox of you.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. I wholeheartedly approve. So now you have 2 singles are out.
Yeah.
And the album is coming out on the 2nd of December.
Exactly.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
The singles that have come out are what? How did that come about?
So the writing process.
Yeah.
I started writing the album. I didn't even think about it as an album. I just started as singles, just writing like even voice recording on my iPhone and stuff like that. But producing music on my own, collaborating with a lot of people. One kid, he's my age, and he produced some of the songs there as well, which is incredible. Upcoming producer, check him out. Luai is his name. He's super cool. So I had a lot of people being involved in this. It wasn't just writing it on my own and then just seeing where it goes. I wrote it back and forth. Okay, send me the beat, send me the instrumental. I'll sing over it. I'll see what comes next. And if there's a chorus that needs to like hit properly, so he'll send me back with like a big chorus climax. I actually wrote the album after my nan passed away. So it was a very difficult moment, very stressful. But I think because I haven't written for those past 2 months, so I had to kind of I couldn't force myself to release music or write music. So I think it came at a good time.
But when you are signed to a label like Sony USA, they have expectations.
They do, yeah. But the good thing is that recently there was some changes within the distribution, and they gave there's this more flexibility, and they give artists now, which is a great thing. It's changed a bit. I think it has to do with the people that have recycled within the industry. But they give me more liberty to write what you have to write, then reach out to us. It's no longer you have 5 songs deadline, give us let's release ASAP. And I think that came with the pandemic, because I think most artists wanted to just take their time. Even with people like me, we're just starting out. I feel like I'm still very, very behind when it comes to my career. I still have a lot to do and to be recognized. But they give us more time to just write our music.
You just said a whole bunch of things there that I'm okay, I need to ask Luke this and this and this and this.
Sorry, I talk a lot, right?
No, it's
sorry.
Great. It's super great. But you mentioned the industry. You talked about the music industry there. And I should imagine, I don't know, because I'm not an artist like you are, but I should imagine there's a lot of pressure from the industry. There's a lot of pressure to be a certain kind of person, to keep up with socials. Because from what I understand as well, socials and your image and your persona is an awful lot of who you are as an artist.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It is, yeah. You need to keep the people listening. I tend to use it as fans, because it's more like the people listening, they like your music, not necessarily your fans. But I feel like that is an important aspect to take care of your socials, yeah. You need to show them who you are. You need to show them immediately, visually what your music sounds like. Do you know what I mean?
So how do you do that?
Well, it comes with the artwork. You need to have a good artwork to represent what your image is like. A lot of planning. I think I sat through a whole month of just making sure that if I stick with one genre, and the image is everything, right? I've got tattoos and everything, so that kind of goes all with it as well, you know what I mean? So imagine I'm just this kid that looks 14, and he has no tattoos or whatever. So.
But how old are you?
19.
19. You're 19, and you've hit the music scene, the music industry, and you were talking there as well about how the industry works and how all the dynamics of the industry. We're talking about social media, but you've released 2 singles, and this is through Sony USA, and the album is coming out on the 2nd of December. Where are the singles going? Where is the album going? Where can people find you, and how has it been received so far? That's a lot of information.
Yeah, no problem. It's a very good question actually, because initially I wasn't going to release it through Sony. I was actually going to go independent with it, just because I felt like there's very much a specific time you want to release an album, and they want to make sure that if it's coming out, you need to like, you know, give it in by a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So writing process is very relaxed. Like you can write whenever you want, but then if you're going to hand in a project, you need to wait like at least a month or two, and then, you know, it comes out, because there's like marketing and all of this process goes in. So yeah, what was the initial question again? I get lost.
So the singles have gone out.
Yeah.
How has it been received?
How's it been received?
Where has the distribution taken the name Luke Chappell?
Yeah. So how has it been received? That's it. Yeah. So far good. I feel like it's still building up. Locally, I think people took it a bit of a good shock, I'd say, because it's so different to what I've released so far. It's like R&B. There's influences from rap as well. Very club music, I'd say.
This is where you want to go?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's more like a grown-up, mature version that I want to lead into. Definitely, it's more like a type of lifestyle I want my fans. Because I know a lot of listeners out there that listen to my music have come from a place where they're growing up with me as well, right? So they're now experiencing that, like, oh, I'm about to go to clubs, you know, this is my time to like start drinking and stuff. So it's a good thing to start changing as well, developing your music with them as well.
I love this idea that you have your fan base or your listeners who have grown up with you. I think that's absolutely amazing. They're not all just old groupies like me chasing you around.
No, it's not that. No.
But going back to, because I just, as soon as you're saying all of this, I'm kind of like, I have 1,000 questions. But going back to what you're talking about, the producer going over to the USA, what was the single thing that you learned when you went to the US, when you sat with this really well-known producer? What was the thing that Luke Chappell took away from that?
How different it is from Malta. It is completely different. I'm saying, in terms of even the industry itself is just so open to newcomers, to new people that are in the industry. Even though I'm no one to him, right? Because he has probably millions of you know, money in his bank. He's still kind of like, oh, I want to hear what you're doing. Oh, like, nice to meet. He was very nice and friendly. He was very open. He was like, and I've met people in Malta who think they've reached, you know, God knows where in the industry. They think they've managed to like be the biggest in the world. And then you meet someone who's worked with one of the biggest people on the planet, and, you know, he's talking to me like he's a friend, you know, which is insane. I've took that as reciprocation type of energy, where like I should do the same as well. If I'm meeting someone, and in fact, like I've been trying to help some of my own friends as well getting into, because they like singing and stuff, and if they're good enough, obviously, but like, you know, I'm willing to help out and write some of their songs and stuff like that. There's no, I think the pride, as soon as it's left at the door, that is where, like, that is what an artist is. I feel like
the pride left at the door.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I feel like. Yeah.
That is so cool. So having said that, my next question is, Luke Chappell, Malta or the rest of the world?
Good question. Both. I think there's something very like humble about, you know, having to keep your home as a, you know, a possession, right? As a thing to keep on keeping in your heart, in your heart, and just like, even though you're traveling around the world or like working with people in the industry abroad, keeping Malta in my heart is such a good thing. I feel like it's such an important thing, you know. You know what I mean?
No, I'm just having a fan moment.
Oh.
Because that's such a humble thing to say. You sound like you want to keep your feet on the ground whilst you're enjoying being able to fly.
Yeah. Look, when it comes to Malta, I feel like there's like this stigma, you know, there's this mentality that you cannot go, you know, exceeding that point. It's like, oh, once you're here, you'll stay here. and they'll judge you for the things you say. They'll judge you for the way you speak, you know, if you want to, just your character, your development and stuff like that, which is fine. I mean, I am my own person. I'm not going to, you know, everyone has their opinions and they're entitled to say whatever they want. But the place, I feel like if it wasn't for how safe and how, you know, the way I was brought up and my story, I feel like if you had to, you know, put me in a situation where I was born in a different country, I was raised in a different country, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. So I think it's it's important to keep your, you know, where you come from in my pocket.
Last question. Your album, you said, is diverted away from what we might know as Luke Chappell. So you're looking at some R&B there, you're looking at a bit of rap. Mm-hmm. If anybody's going to go and buy the album in the next couple of days, what can they expect?
Similar vibes to The Weeknd. I feel like his early album, like, you know, Can't Feel My Face, that like kind of 80s groove, that definitely is a major influence in the album. Tory Lanez is a major influence, Chase Atlantic. Maybe some people won't know these artists if they're like, you know, but I feel like even for maybe my mum's type of generation, Michael Jackson is a bit of an influence as well. So that if people like that type of music, that funk, you know, definitely go check it out.
And another last question. Of course, there's another last question.
Yeah.
What is the big dream? Where do we go from here, Luke Chappell?
To be honest, I just want to be happy. I think that's the goal. I don't want to say, oh, I want to travel the world. I want to be like, you know, a pop star. I want to go there. I genuinely just want to be happy. Like, even if I'm just living day by day, and even if that means I stay here all my life, which probably, you know, isn't the dream, but I think being happy is the most important thing. Even when it comes to music, I don't know if I'll be doing this all my life, but maybe I'll become like, I don't know, an actor or a teacher or something else. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still 19. But I feel like being happy is a very important thing.
You said it, 19 years old, Luke Chappell, signed to Sony USA, 2 singles out, album coming out on the 2nd of December. I love talking to you, Luke.
I love talking to you as well.
I am so cheering you on.
Thank you.
And I have no doubt that big things are going to happen. I'm excited. Will you keep me posted? Can I come and be your groupie at the front of your big concert in Wembley and just go, Luke?
Of course, backstage. Balcony seat.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm so pleased.
Thank you for having me so much. I love doing this.